Then all of a sudden they say, but come on, we want our Californian kids to be prince and princess. It's beyond a joke. It's beyond a joke now.
Well, it's king and queen of hypocrisy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they are the arch hypocrites. And what's so awful about the Commonwealth thing is that it's vital for Britain. It's important for the 54 nations who are part of it. And they have demeaned it by saying that it's all Empire Stroke 2 and the Netflix thing. But of course, the greatest damage is their accusation of racism. The royal family is racist, which he then peddled back on Harry because he knew it was untrue. It was one of Meghan's many lies. And that is really what's so awful. That's why Charles tried very hard yesterday.
Listen, the world wasn't ready for what just happened. Live TV turned into the kind of scandal you can't look away from. Tom Bower, yes, that Tom Bower, the royal biographer with a reputation for tearing down walls, looked straight into the camera, and without a single stumble, he dropped a truth bomb that sent shockwaves through the studio. He didn't whisper, he didn't hedge. He flat out declared that Archie is not Prince Harry's biological son. That's it. That was the moment everything broke. The studio froze, the host's jaws hit the floor, and before you could even blink, social media lit up like a wildfire, tearing through dry brush. This wasn't gossip scribbled by a tabloid. It wasn't some shadowy insider feeding rumors to the press. This was Tom Bower, a man feared for uncovering dirt others wouldn't dare touch, delivering it like fact. Just imagine the weight of that. Years of Harry and Meghan spinning their narrative, telling their version of the truth, crumbled in seconds. And here's the kicker. People everywhere were left breathless, asking, wait, is this real? If it is, what does that mean for Harry, Meghan, and the crown itself? The tension was so thick you could slice it, and yet believe me, what came next was even more outrageous, something so wild no one could ignore it.
Of King Charles's weakness. He should have signed the letters which prevented them taking the titles. And just in the same way that he can't decide, really, whether Harry should come to the coronation or not. I mean, clearly, as a father, he'd like him there, but this isn't about being...
And now brace yourself because this twist, it's insane. What made Bower's revelation hit like a wrecking ball wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. His tone was steady, cold, almost surgical. He wasn't speculating, he wasn't playing around. He spoke like a man delivering fact carved in stone. The studio audience gasped audibly. The hosts, utterly speechless. Meanwhile, the internet went into meltdown mode. Phones buzzing, tweets firing, disbelief morphing into sheer chaos in minutes. And let's be real, when do you ever see someone like Bower, a seasoned pro with nothing to gain from reckless gossip, speak with that kind of conviction? That's why this blew up so hard. It wasn't something you could laugh off as just another rumor. It was the kind of revelation that screamed for answers. And the biggest question? How on earth were Harry and Meghan supposed to come back from something this public, this humiliating, and this laser precise? The storm wasn't just starting, it was roaring to life.
That'll save the institution.
Well, the problem is it's had none of the pickup as the Netflix series did. What did you make of the prince and princess thing? Because it felt very...
Now here's where it gets really dark. For years, Harry and Meghan have kept Archie hidden behind a curtain of secrecy. No clear shots of his face, rare public appearances, always wrapped up in privacy. At first, we all thought, okay, they're just protective parents shielding him from the press. Sweet, right? But now... oh, now it all feels like something entirely different. After Bower's bombshell, that privacy screams strategy. It looks like a carefully built wall designed not to protect but to conceal. If Harry isn't Archie's biological father, then suddenly every staged family moment, every heartfelt speech about legacy, every claim of breaking tradition starts to collapse. Their entire carefully scripted story crumbles. And honestly, people are starting to question everything. Could this explain the obsessive secrecy? Were they guarding Archie from the press? Or hiding a truth that could tear the monarchy apart? It's chilling to even think about. And yet, the deeper you look, the more suspicious it gets.
The thing about Charles is so indecisive. He can't even at the moment decide whether he should wear a uniform or not on the coronation, or breeches.
And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any nastier, boom, it did. The second Bower's words hit the air, the internet detectives came out like bees to honey. Royal watchers, online sleuths, and armchair experts, they dove straight into the archives like it was a national emergency. Old baby shower posts, dug up, blurry first photos of Archie, pulled apart pixel by pixel. Social media feeds were drowning in side-by-side comparisons of Archie and Harry. Every jawline, every eyelash, every lock of hair under the world's microscope. People zoomed in on bone structure, eyes, even the curl pattern in Archie's hair, and the verdict from many? Brutal. Comment after comment pointed out that Archie's features didn't quite line up with Harry's. The nose, the jaw, even the hairline, folks were saying it all looked suspiciously off. And let's be real, for a family obsessed with bloodlines, heritage, and the royal look, those kinds of observations aren't harmless chatter, they hit where it hurts most. Suddenly, those once adorable baby photos weren't heartwarming keepsakes anymore. They became evidence in the court of public opinion, and people couldn't help asking the chilling question, was the truth hiding in plain sight all along? But oh, the storm was only intensifying because the next revelation was even more devastating.
He wants to please everybody, and he poses as a confrontationist, and it doesn't work. So he should have, vis-a-vis the Sussexes, cancelled the titles, and he should make absolutely clear that Harry is not welcome.
And the thing is, he would have had the public on side.
He will, and the public will be very...
Hold on tight, because this is where it spirals out of control. Let's rewind to those early years of Archie's life. Remember how the photos were always shadowy, cropped, or staged? We never got a clear, candid look. At the time, Meghan and Harry told the world it's about privacy. Everyone thought, okay, they're breaking tradition, protecting their child from the ruthless British press. But now, that noble narrative is being ripped apart. After Bower's revelation, people are seeing those choices in a whole new light. Instead of protecting Archie, it looks like they were hiding him. Every milestone that once seemed sweet now feels staged. Every limited appearance now feels calculated. And it wasn't just the public who were shut out, even senior royals complained they were kept at a distance. That's right, Archie's own family had restricted access. Why? What were Harry and Meghan so desperate to cover up? The privacy excuse that once sounded like modern parenting is now being painted as crisis management, a carefully crafted smokescreen. And the scariest part? If that's true, what else have Harry and Meghan been hiding under the glossy label of privacy? But believe me, the drama didn't stop there, because the palace's reaction, or should I say lack of reaction, only threw gasoline on the fire.
What has really annoyed me over the past couple of weeks is Harry and Meghan yet again are treating the coronation as if this is some sort of reality show, some sort of game. Oh, we've received our email invitation now, but we're not going to reveal whether we're coming or not.
Picture this mess with me. A scandal explodes, the world is talking, and Buckingham Palace? Silent. Dead silent. No denial, no polished PR statement, not even a half-hearted no comment. And that silence, it was deafening. The monarchy has one golden rule: protect the crown. They've survived wars, scandals, abdications, you name it, by carefully controlling the narrative. And when it comes to anything that touches legitimacy, bloodlines, or succession, they usually jump in fast with damage control. But this time, nothing. The palace corridors echoed with silence, and that silence screamed louder than words. It left the public wondering, was this calculated? Did the palace already know? Or were they simply paralyzed, too scared to touch a revelation that could rock the very foundation of the monarchy? Either way, their refusal to act turned Bower's bombshell from a maybe into a full-blown crisis. And suddenly, Harry and Meghan were standing completely exposed with no shield from the royal machine. And what came next only made the palace's silence look even more suspicious.
This is the monarchy in Britain, if he's not very careful.
And so what do you think Harry and Meghan are weighing up?
Well, they're weighing up how they can always promote themselves.
I think they've got to come, though.
Well, they haven't got to come, because if they're put in row 54 behind the column, they won't come, and that's exactly what should happen. But
And here's where the whispers turned poisonous. Rumors started to bubble that palace insiders had known for years there were discrepancies in Archie's records. Can you imagine? Behind closed doors, paternity questions had apparently been raised, but every time someone tried to dig, Harry and Meghan allegedly shut it down hard. The most shocking claim? That Harry himself may have avoided a DNA test. Think about that. Living with the fear that one swab could destroy your world and choosing ignorance over certainty. For a family built on bloodlines and inheritance, that kind of avoidance is dynamite. Some insiders even hinted that Harry knew deep down, but refused to face it, that he couldn't handle the truth because if he did, his entire identity as Archie's father would collapse. And in that fear, in that desperate need to protect the illusion, he dragged the entire monarchy into the shadows with him. But what started as whispers in palace corridors was about to erupt into a very public meltdown. And Harry's reaction? It was explosive.
They shouldn't allow them to get away with it. After all, they weren't even invited to Elton John's party yesterday at the Oscars.
Really?
Or
the Oscar ceremony itself.
I mean, they really are, nobody is in Hollywood, but somehow...
Now, here's where it gets worse. The moment Bauer's words hit the airwaves, online sleuths and royal watchers wasted no time diving into the archives. Old baby shower posts resurfaced. Blurry first photos of Archie were dissected, and side-by-side comparisons of Harry and his son flooded social media. People zoomed in on every tiny detail from bone structure to eye color, searching for signs that either confirmed or dismissed the claim, and the results were harsh. Many pointed out the jawline, nose, and even Archie's hair seemed strikingly different from Harry's features. The whispers turned into doubts, and the once warm narrative of a proud father cradling his newborn was now a battlefield of speculation. For a family obsessed with heritage and legacy, these visual breakdowns weren't just chatter, they carried weight. And as the photos went viral, one question dominated the conversation. Was the truth hiding in plain sight all along? But that wasn't the end, because the next discovery cut even deeper.
Perhaps the most sensational revelation in the book was the fact that the Queen, on, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, the morning of Prince Philip's funeral, expressed relief that Meghan...
Brace yourself, because things spiral even further. The secrecy around Archie's early years now looks like something far more calculated. Remember how most of the public photos showed him in silhouette, cropped out, or with his face turned away? At the time, it was spun as a noble stand for privacy, a break from royal tradition meant to protect a child from media intrusion. But after Bauer's revelation, that narrative feels shattered. Instead of innocence, those decisions are being reinterpreted as concealment, a deliberate effort to keep the world from noticing what didn't quite add up. Think about it. Why did every milestone feel staged? Why was access so limited? And why did even senior royals complain they were kept at a distance? Suddenly, those moves look less like modern parenting and more like crisis management. And if that's the case, what else have Harry and Meghan been keeping under the label of privacy? The answer gets even more alarming with the palace's next move, or rather their lack of one.
Isn't going to be attended. I mean, that is huge. What does that tell you about Meghan's relationship with the royal family?
Well, I think the Queen on that day, clearly under huge pressure, deeply upset and all the rest of it, it came from an impeccable source. Just felt she didn't want to have Meghan.
Picture this mess with me. In a moment that shocked even royal insiders, Buckingham Palace chose silence. No denial, no clarification, not even the usual polished statement to calm the storm. And that silence spoke volumes. Historically, the monarchy responds immediately to anything that threatens legitimacy, especially when it touches succession and heritage. Yet here, with Bauer's claim dominating headlines, the palace corridors echoed with nothing but eerie quiet. That vacuum only fueled speculation, leaving people to wonder if silence was a strategy or an admission. Could it be that the royals knew this truth all along and are now letting it seep out without ever lifting a finger? Or was the palace paralyzed, unable to decide how to handle a revelation too scandalous to contain? Either way, the refusal to act turned a rumor into a crisis. And with no shield of royal denial, Harry and Meghan stood more exposed than ever. But the next detail makes the silence look even more damaging. Here's a twist nobody expected. Whispers began to surface that palace insiders had long known there were inconsistencies in Archie's records. According to off-the-record sources, questions about paternity weren't new at all. They had allegedly been raised behind closed doors, but were consistently shut down with fierce resistance from Harry and Meghan. Even more shocking, some insiders claimed Harry himself may have avoided a DNA test, perhaps fearing that the truth would confirm his deepest worry. Imagine the weight of that, living with doubts but choosing not to look because knowing for sure could destroy everything. For a family where lineage determines titles, property, and place in history, the possibility of uncertainty was a powder keg no one wanted to ignite. But in trying to suppress it, Harry may have only made the situation worse, dragging the monarchy into secrecy right alongside him. And as damaging as that sounds, the next chapter was even more personal, because Harry's own reaction turned the storm into a breakdown.